your family nag you about being single all the time? If so, this movie is for you. Today we're covering the 2020 rom-com Holidate. Before we start, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Alright, Sloane, our protagonist, has recently broken up with her boyfriend and is pretty annoyed by her family mentioning him at their Christmas family dinner. She may not say anything about how being single on Christmas is affecting her, but her endless smoking and staying in her pajamas all day long says it all. Everyone at the dinner table has a date, so Sloane sits in the kids' table, calling it the singles table. Her cousin Carly has her boyfriend named Jackson staying the night, and to make matters worse, even Sloane's young niece has a boyfriend named Rodney at school. Jackson's bothered by the fact that Carly is making such a big deal about their fling in front of her parents, as if it were something serious, but he's soon shut up by Carly giving him some action. The romance doesn't last very long though, since later when everyone's exchanging gifts, Carly gets pissed at Jackson for not giving her any, even confessing how they've done it twice in front of her parents. He awkwardly gives her some cash as a gift, but she doesn't accept it, saying she wants double the amount. My God, good to know it's all about the number. This makes Jackson furious, and he leaves, saying girls lose their minds on holidays and he should have known it'd end like this. Right after, Sloane's little brother proposes to his girlfriend Liz, and she accepts. Everyone is cheering, but Sloane has never felt so single. The next day, Sloane and Jackson bump into each other at the mall, both trying to return their crappy Christmas gifts. As they both stroll through the mall, Sloane finds her aunt's Holidate dressed as Santa. Jackson gets intrigued by the term, and Sloane tells him a Holidate is someone you just hook up with for the holidays. Since they're both single and miserable on holidays, Jackson gives Sloane his details in case she wants to be his Holidate for New Year's Eve. A few days later, Sloane's mom tries hooking her up with their neighbor, Farouk. Annoyed by her mother's calls, Sloane gives in and calls Jackson to meet and go to a party. At the party, Sloane bumps into her aunt Susan and finds her with a new Holidate, an art student. Jackson is really happy and having a lot of fun with Sloane as there are no commitments. Sloane goes to the bathroom and finds a bride crying because she has wine spilled all over her white dress. She finds Sloane's black dress really pretty, so out of pity, Sloane exchanges dresses with her. Later on the dance floor, Sloane and Jackson have a wild time and become the center of attention. Everyone watches as she runs towards him and he picks her up. Accidentally, her new dress tears apart. Panicking, she falls on him and they both get hurt. Right before it's time for the New Year countdown, Jackson leaves for the bathroom and Sloane stays alone watching people kiss and propose. When Jackson comes back, he just gives her a sloppy peck on the cheek. Jackson mentions meeting on Valentine's Day before dropping her home, but she says that's too far away and gets out of the car, annoyed by not kissing anyone at midnight. Fast forward to Valentine's Day, Sloane, still single, bumps into her ex at the candy shop with a basket full of chocolates in her hand. His new girlfriend is also with him, being all flirtatious. Coincidentally, Jackson is also at the mall and sees the situation from outside the shop window. Just like a knight in shining armor, he comes inside, puts his arm around Sloane, and pretends to be her boyfriend. Sloane rushes out of the store with Jackson and feels sick after seeing her ex's new, younger, and hotter girlfriend. In a hurry, she forgets paying and accidentally brings the basket full of bourbon chocolates with her. She doesn't want to go back inside, so she keeps them and encourages Jackson to eat too. So they end up in his car devouring the chocolates. They both agree on being Holidates from now on until they find someone else. To avoid things getting complicated or serious, they make a deal to keep it platonic. They hang out again on St. Patrick's Day, where they bump into Sloane's married sister, Abby, and her engaged little brother with her fiancé, and they all get along. Sloane then invites Jackson to her Easter family brunch where her mom tries hooking her up with the neighbor Farouk, but she's still not interested. Jackson suggests Sloane for her to think about Farouk seriously because he's a doctor and seems good with kids. She says she's still not ready to be in a relationship, to which Jackson replies with a story about how a girl played with his heart, stayed at his house, and one day just left stealing his panini maker. On Cinco de Mayo, Sloane and Jackson get really drunk. Sloane gets shocked when she finds out Jackson had done it with a waitress on St. Patrick's Day, while she hasn't gotten laid since her breakup. Things start to heat up between the two of them as they start drinking. So much so that in the morning, Sloane wakes up on the floor of Jackson's room wearing his underwear. They both can't remember if they did it last night, but Sloane chooses to think they didn't. Their next meeting is on Mother's Day. Her mother suggests that they get intimate so that maybe this Holidate arrangement can turn into a real relationship, because by now she'll take whatever she can get so that her daughter isn't single. Jackson and Sloane decide to act funny and pretend to go to the bathroom to do it, but leave instead. Okay guys, quick pause to remind you to comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. On with the recap. For the 4th of July, Jackson joins Sloane's family on a day trip to their vacation house. The boys load their car with fireworks and leave while the girls go separately with Sloane's aunt and her new Holidate, an old man who smokes weed. Liz seems rather nervous about her upcoming wedding, so the girls make Liz smoke the joint to loosen up. When they arrive at their destination, the boys start to blow up some fireworks and Jackson accidentally blows off his finger. Literally, the whole thing comes off. Luckily, the finger is found in the sand and Sloane is given the responsibility to drive him and his finger to the hospital. At the hospital, they both smoke a little grass to numb his pain before getting caught by the nurse. The doctor at the hospital turns out to be Farouk. Sloane is amazed to see him in his doctor attire, and her reaction makes Jackson jealous, so he diverts her attention by making Farouk talk to him instead of her. Back at Jackson's apartment, Sloane gives him a blanket and hesitates before leaving him alone as things between them start to get personal. It's evident that they both want to lock lips, but no one makes the move, and Sloane ends up leaving Jackson to rest. Later, they both know they're into each other, but aren't sure the other feels the same way. Jackson's friend suggests him not going to her brother's wedding, even though it's on Labor Day, while Sloane's friend says men loathe weddings, so if he goes, it'll mean he likes her back. A few days later, Jackson video calls Sloane regarding the wedding gift and smoothly adds in bringing their own dates to the wedding. Sloane is a bit disappointed, but she doesn't let him see it and just agrees. At the wedding, Sloane brings Farouk and Jackson goes with Sloane's aunt. They're both just jealous of each other and get intimate with their dates on purpose to annoy the other person, providing us with some cringy yet hilarious scenes. Sloane and Jackson meet at the bar, both annoyed with each other and wondering if they'll sleep with each other's holidates. Meanwhile, the bride and her father start dancing to a very inappropriate song in a foreign language they don't speak, so Jackson and Sloane go to stop them. Very soon, everyone starts dancing on the dance floor and Sloane's aunt starts grinding Farouk, to which he does not seem to have any complaints. Sloane glares at Farouk and takes him back, and Jackson and Sloane start dancing with their Holidates even though in reality they just want to dance with each other. Sloane's aunt isn't done with Farouk, so she falls down on purpose so that he'll pick her up and take her away, and it works. Next, Jackson and Sloane meet at a Halloween party. Her aunt is there with Farouk, and it seems like they're getting serious. The real shocker, though, is that Sloane bumps into her ex with his now pregnant girlfriend. Suddenly, Sloane starts feeling really sick by the shock, and all the candy she's eaten and her tight dress make it worse. When Jackson takes her home, she falls out of the taxi. Back at the party, Sloane's aunt asks Sloane's sister for a pill, and her sister realizes she's been feeding Sloane laxatives instead of chill pills. On the other hand, Sloane is in an elevator with Jackson going to her apartment when she feels the sudden urge to let all the candies inside her out. She asks him to untie her dress furiously. Her dress is laced up and super tight, so he tries ripping it apart, and she drags herself inside the apartment and to the washroom. Finally, it comes off, and she rushes inside, locking the door, crying and pooping on the floor. When she's done, Jackson helps her take a shower, and then he tucks her into bed and makes her some peppermint tea. They end up sleeping next to each other, and in the morning when they wake up, they finally kiss and do it. Abby starts knocking on the door, and when Sloane opens it, she finds out Abby kissed Jackson's friend last night, even though she's married, and she feels horrible. Abby gets surprised seeing Jackson come out of Sloane's room and says she'll leave, but Sloane insists on her staying and Jackson leaving. She even tells him she'll see him on Thanksgiving, making it look like she still just wants to hang out on the holidays. It's the first time Jackson hasn't been asked to stay by a girl, and he feels really surprised, even more so at how upset he feels. At Thanksgiving, Sloane's family assumes Jackson won't come, but he actually does show up. Sloane drives with him to the grocery store to buy new supplies for the burnt dinner, and they both quarrel at the store because Sloane is still too afraid to commit and acts really cold. Eventually, she ends up going back home alone, Everyone at home is annoyed at Sloane for messing up another potential relationship. She gets defensive and blurts out that her sister kissed Jackson's friend at the party in front of her husband. Drama and chaos ensue, and this all leads to Sloane's aunt, Holidate, having a heart attack. An ambulance is called and Sloane is forced to go to the hospital along with her aunt. At the hospital, the doctor is Farouk, and after seeing him, Sloane's aunt realizes she's got a thing for him and shouldn't have dumped him. She apologizes to him and they get back together, confessing each other their love. The next day, Sloane goes to the mall with her sister and niece where she sees Jackson on the elevator. Finally, she realizes how he's the one for her and runs after him, but gets lost in the crowd near the Christmas choir. She gets up on stage and talks to him through the microphone, asking him to forgive her and come back in quite a long speech. He agrees, and once they stand in front of each other, they officially get together and kiss passionately in front of a clapping crowd. Finally. Would you ever want to go on a holiday, or would you rather it be something serious? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time.